Happy Tuesday, Terra people. The solar sunrise. So, I wanted to talk about a few things today. Inflection and tone and perception. Finding the right audience. We're in a Venus retrograde, so these are all things that are very, very much highlighted. That and I guess it falls under perception, but seeking outside validation and where you seek your security and how you feel about yourself. I mean, the only person that's going to stay throughout the lifetime with you is you. So the only person that can ever validate you in how you feel is yourself. Now, perception and tone, I find, especially in this century, in this time and space, is all over text and email and internet. And I think 100% of every disagreement or every kind of misunderstanding is that one person writes something with a certain tone in mind and another person interprets it completely differently with a completely different mindset, because we're all projecting our own feelings or thoughts on a situation. And a lot of times we can see something written or expressed, and we get really, really offended by it. But and you get mad at the other person, and that's why it's really dangerous sometimes nowadays to express yourself, because people now, instead of shunning you or whatever that they used to do, socially annihilate you, which is still pretty harsh, but they can just kill you. It's unfortunate, and it shouldn't be like that, because everybody should have the right to say what they want to say, because I mean, in a sense, we all have free speech, right? I mean, obviously some people's ideas or thoughts or feelings are slanted in a certain way that it's not gonna mesh with a lot of people's thinking, but it's out there for a reason. It's there to make people think. It's there to remind people that there's people that think that way. I mean, there's progressive and then there's regressive stuff. I mean, sometimes somebody says something that's completely backwards out there, and you're just like, what would inspire somebody to say something like that? But instead of you thinking through, why does that affect me? Why does somebody say that? Any of those things. People just go straight to the attack, and they go straight on the defense or aggression, and just go for the guttural. And I've never seen somebody who's gotten, who's up there for arrest, who seems like they knew that 100% of what they did was correct. So I think what I want to say is that before we jump down other people's throats about stuff, and I know I've done this in the past, and it has not been met with great, reception. So just remember, when you hear something or see something written that really upsets you, and you want to do something about it, in a sense, instead of doing something about it, why don't you look at your behavior of why you want to do that? And you say, why does this bother me? Why do I feel like I need to silence this person, or I need to argue with this person, or I need to have this happen in my life? That it has clearly affected me, because it doesn't so much say something about them. Clearly there's things about them that are, something else, but it's mostly when your reaction is saying something about you and how you are perceiving and how you are dealing with what this thing has jumped out at you and in your psyche, in your consciousness. I mean, I've posted this before, but I understand why a lot of artists write under pen names, have multiple volumes of unpublished works, because, you know, as a writer, you're already self-critical of what comes out of your brain, because you're like, oh my gosh, people are they even going to agree with anything that I have to say? Are they even going to like it? Is the audience, is it going to be a grand enough audience to even make a difference, or am I just wasting my time putting my words out there? I mean, I would say no, but a lot of people have different feelings about how comfortable they are sharing themselves and their brain to because we all have something to contribute to the world. We all have a interesting, intriguing brain of madness. um, but it's like when someone just completely annihilates your point of view that you've written completely, maybe not even to please anybody, but just for yourself. The fact that you have written it out loud and people have access to it gives them a chance to react to it. And then when they react to it, then that's really their own perception of what is going on. In their own head, and that has struck a chord within them. Even the nicest things that people have put out there can strike just such a negative, devious chord that it makes them basically just fall apart and go insane and like attack or spew things that are just like, whoa, and so it's interesting, like, I was at a restaurant, and this is an example of me. I always feel like my opinions or what I have to say, and I know that I shouldn't it shouldn't matter, but I want it to affect other people in a sense where they start thinking about things and they can agree sometimes. And I appreciate it when I get comments and feedback when people are like, oh, I totally know what you're talking about. That's great, thank you. Or even if they don't, maybe say like, oh, I don't really know that maybe that's just you. But I feel like I have a pretty general way of talking about stuff, so I feel like it can resonate with at least somebody. I was sitting at a restaurant, and I was telling the story, and I noticed that the table next to us, they were listening to my story, and then they were making fun of me for my story. And then later, somebody who was at my table was like, oh, I found out they thought I was obnoxious. And I'm like, yeah, I am obnoxious. I'm obnoxious, I'm oblivious, I'm angry, I can be all these things, yes. But because because you saw it in me, and I was not trying to per se be obnoxious, but I was just irritated that the table next to me was listening into my conversation that wasn't even their part of them, and that they were making fun of me because they clearly had nothing better to do or talk about. They were just all sitting there like, oh, I guess we'll just listen to this person's conversation because we have nothing left going on in our lives to even say anything. Or we just want to listen to someone talk, and she's clearly entertaining, and we are using that as a fodder for our own entertainment. Yes, I'm entertaining, I know. But the fact that that person had the audacity, and I had just met her fairly recently, and I have a few opinions of her of my own, but I chose not to share those. I just, tried to get to know her because I feel like unless you know somebody, you can't make an opinion. You don't have an opinion about them because you don't know them. You don't know anything. She found me obnoxious. And yeah, that hurt because, somebody who didn't know me had thrown a prejudged opinion about me because they felt higher and mightier to make that to make that judgment. But I mean, what it really says about her is that she sees and recognizes that of me in herself, and it struck a chord and it bothered her. So I feel like I really didn't need to know that she thought I was annoying. It wasn't really my business what she thinks, because I don't really care. And that the fact that I had to hear it through a mutual friend was really on the mutual friend's failings, because their, thought was, hey, this person needs to know so they can correct this behavior. But I didn't need to know. I didn't need the person to relay it. And the middle person is more of a person who just likes to have everybody know all the information because they feel like perhaps they would like to know all information about things. But we're all different, and we all want different types of information about ourselves. Life around here, yeah. So I'm going to read these. Thank you for listening to my slight rant about that, but it's just kind of, it's hard to beat yourself and it's hard to love yourself, but if you love yourself, regardless of all the endless criticism that may come in, then you're winning the battle. You're winning the battle and winning the war, because, it's hard. Life is hard. Shit, it's fucking hard. But you got number one in your corner, you can't lose. I mean, you might fail, but you'll never lose. A profound transformation is taking place in your life. Be yourself. You have much to offer the world by just being you. Your love has the power to transform all things, including your relationship and your love life. Be the love you seek, right? You are who you are because of your history. All of it has helped you grow in love, wisdom, and every experience has blessed you in some way. Embrace the past and forgive anything that needs forgiving. All right. I forgive all of you who have wronged me in the past. Maybe you're not watching, and I apologize for those who are watching and are like, I didn't do anything. But, I forgive you, and I release you. I let you go. It's okay. We can move on with our lives. Cutting the cords. Two hearts merge through an explosion of love. United, they create unlimited wealth. Together, they fulfill their dreams. You are loved more than you consciously know. Share your insecurities with the one you love. You will be surprised and reassured by their reaction. Love is all around you. Wow, this Wednesday is going to be bomb.com. Yes, I just used that. My mom said the bomb earlier. I was like, good one, Mom. Life is constantly changing, yet at its core it remains the same. Love does not change, it only grows stronger. Change is simply love unfolding, its never-ending story. And in order to cope with the separation from a loved one, we need to realize that spiritually we are always connected to those we love. Neither distance nor time can separate that as which united by love. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling myself. Shit. Feeling myself. A place like this? Been looking for it all my life. You get to a point where you can't insult yourself any longer, because the outside world is going to do it enough for you, and they'll be ruthless, and if you haven't developed that inner voice that says, oh, you know what, don't worry about it, it's okay, we'll just go off and do our own thing, then it's gonna be rough goings, but you have people around you in a support network, and that can remind you, and they'll give you kind reminders. It doesn't have to be everybody's just ripping each other to shreds because it's just so it's just so hip and cool to be mean to one another and be call you on your shit. Like, what is even that is even call you on your shit? Maybe call you on their projections of what they want you to be, because they're trying to slowly modulate your behavior as their friend. But that's not a true friend. A true friend doesn't want to make you into their, drone or clone or crony or minion. They want your support, and they want you to, they want your love, but they also, they want the negative parts of them being pointed out, obviously, and they want, they don't, You want somebody who's going to be a good mirror, not a crappy mirror with lots of imperfections and splots that that make you look like something that they want you to look like. And that's where we really got to be careful of who we are around. Oh God. Okie dokie. All right. We have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. We have the Moon upright. We have the Wheel of Fortune upright. Man, so many major arcanas lately. Like, we're coming up on this blue moon, too. And that's like, this is like the all in or out, all or nothing kind of moon. It's like, all right, shit or get off the pot. We gotta make some realizations in our lives. It's like eye-opening. Everything is revealed. That's what the full moons are for. I can't wait, honestly. Although, I'll probably be laying on the couch with a heat pack on my lady bits. TMI, right? And then we have Temperance in reverse. So, it seems like there's going to be this psychic moon into intuitiveness coming in. Things are starting to, ding, 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 roll around this wheel of fortune, and things are moving, changing, shifting so quickly, and things can be actually kind of confusing and like a cloud cover, like we don't quite know where it's going, but you just have to continue and trust and go forward in things, even if they seem like misty and like unsure, until they're not something to go on. Follow that spiritual journey until the end, because there's always a lesson to be learned, and there's always an adventure to be had, and it's fun to, sometimes you have to get a little dirty, and you have to figure stuff out by, taking a risk or two, or having some fun, and unlocking different parts of your personality just to kind of experience things. I had some fun unlocking a little demon of mine, and a little while ago, and it was great. I had so much fun. You get to just kind of enjoy acting like a slightly different person than you normally would. But you have to always come back and remember who is real, who is the reality here, and not live in the illusion and delusion of it all. Toes. Sorry. I know some people aren't big into feet, but I thought that was funny. So stay on your toes, I guess. Then we have Temperance in reverse, so maybe there's some stuff that needs to be shifted, changes, some kind of balancing act going on. We need to temper that water to make that Ace of Pentacles adjusted to the upright, because it's just stuck. There's just something stuck, and there's a barrier of moving forward for this new opportunity, this new practical beginning. And with the punctuation marks being the Judgment card in reverse, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and the Lovers upright, it probably has something to do with a choice or a romantic love relationship. Immediately, because it's upright, it's directly happening and in the moment, and the Queen of Pentacles, she can get. The moon just entered Capricorn, so we're about to, we're in the home stretch for the full moon. But those earth ladies, the earth lady energy can be very stubborn in reverse. It can be very steadfast in its opinion and thought, and looks like the judgment has been made, and it's maybe not the correct one, but that stubborn earth lady is going to fight for that that opinion, because it takes a long time to irritate, especially a Taurus. A Virgo can get, incensed pretty quickly, but also lose it pretty quickly. So they kind of just, it's like in and out. And a Capricorn usually can get, angry and then stay angry. So I mean, it's not everyone, but the ones I've come across, I've noticed that's how it kind of goes. Um, or, you know, they the Capricorns, they're angry at first and then they lose it. But that Earth anger can get pretty intense. It is it's like a earthquake kind of thing, unstable ground. Um, but forgive me for misrepresentations. If you want to correct me, please feel free. Um, but I mean, it seems like this, energy is pointing towards some irritable home earth energy, and should be remedied by tempering. So I'm gonna leave you here because we're at 21 now. But I hope you have a great Wednesday, and I hope that you are able to be your own cheerleader, because there is nothing like having somebody on your team 100%. All right, bye.